Hey everyone, welcome to The Leader's Edge, your path to personal and leadership growth. I'm your host, Steve Steele, alongside my co-host and partner in leadership, Dacumos. As certified speakers, coaches, and corporate facilitators, we're dedicated to bringing you powerful principles to fuel your leadership journey and personal growth. Whether you're an entrepreneur just starting out, a new leader taking the reins, or a seasoned pro looking to refine your skills, this show is for you. We'll be diving deep into personal growth strategies to help you strengthen your mindset and leadership abilities. But before we jump in, a huge shout out goes to all of our amazing listeners. Thank you for jumping in and listening to us each and every week. We wouldn't be here without your incredible support. We also have launched our very own YouTube channel, The Leader's Edge. And going forward, we are doing it every single week, and the replays will be available within 24 hours after the live show. Now, let's get down to business and help you unlock your full potential. Ernelita, how are you doing today, partner? It is so good to have you back. How are you?
Hello, partner. Good morning, everyone. This is your co-host, Dacumos. I'm trying to up-level my partner's energy right now, and I could not do it. But I'm doing fantastic, partner. How are you doing? It's great to be back as well.
Oh, Ernie, it is so glad to have you back. It was just wonderful. I'm doing absolutely great. And today we have an amazing guest. We met this gentleman back, I guess it was last year I met him. Yeah, August, when we were at the IMC. So Ernie, take just a minute and introduce our special guest today.
It would be my great pleasure to introduce him. Our great guest this morning is a dynamic transformational leader, speaker, coach, mentor, and trainer committed to inspiring and equipping individuals and organizations to thrive. As one of the executive directors of Maxwell Leadership, or the John Maxwell team, he leverages world-class leadership principles to help individuals and organizations break through limitations, elevate performance, and drive meaningful impact. With decades of leadership development and mindset transformation expertise, I'm not going to say his name. He delivers high energy keynotes that blend authentic storytelling with actionable strategies. These keynotes empower teams to lead with clarity, confidence, and resilience in today's competitive landscape. Originally from El Salvador, Central America, he has called the USA home for over 27 years, with 22 of those in Jefferson City, Missouri. A devoted husband, father, and friend, he brings energy, focus, and passion to every aspect of life. He and his wife, Kristen, are the proud parents of four energetic children. Ooh, four. Chase, Marshall, Hadassah, and Eliza. He helps organizations and leaders shatter barriers, lead with clarity and confidence, and drive meaningful impact. He equips teams to thrive in today's competitive landscape through high energy keynotes, storytelling, and actionable strategies. Everyone, please help me welcome the amazing Mr. Heber Mena to the green room.
Oh, Heber is so good to have you, brother. I have waited a long time to do this show. I'm so excited. I am so excited you're here.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure for me to be here. I was waiting for the person who will come to the call. I was like, who are they talking about? But I guess it's me, right? So I mean, thank you so much for that amazing. It's just I'm already blessed just to be here. I met you in August last year, and since the moment we talk, it has been an instant connection. And I've been listening to other episodes that you have, and I am so amazed to see the work that you all are doing. So thank you so much for the privilege to be able to come to your program and add value to your audience.
Oh, thank you so much, Heber. We greatly appreciate it. But we're going to dive in and get started. So, Heber, last week, when we were talking last week, we were talking about, actually entitled our show, Growth Mindset, How to Scale, Lead, and Thrive. So I know that you specialize in scaling and helping identify different forces that propel growth and into organizations, and those that create obstacles that happen. Can you take just a minute and just share with us a little bit about what that looks like as a whole? What is your whole purpose in going in and helping with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my passion in life is to connect with people, add value to them, and empower them to make a difference in their own world. So I'm not the whole world, but in their world that they interact every day. So with that, I take the approach to meet people where they are, identifying possible obstacles that are holding them back, and then bringing them to a very high awareness of themselves so they can get to know themselves, and then develop a systematic plan of action to help them move forward in life. So I'm about that. So I love connecting with people and just to help them see perhaps what they are not able to see. And so by doing that, you know, I am really big on connection. And so I
Mm,
like to ask a lot of questions. So that description that I just gave you is the coaching approach, which is, you know, meet you where you are. It's not like I don't come with an agenda. I don't come with, look how many powerful and amazing tools I have. It's just, no, I meet you where you are. I asked powerful questions, and that helped me assess where you are and develop those, you know, possible steps to get you unlocked or unstuck and then move you forward. I'm all about forward.
mm-hmm. I love that approach, Eber. A lot of times we experience it ourselves, right? Perfect example is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn today has become like a major marketing place where I'm going to connect with you. And then all of a sudden, this is my business,
Yeah.
not knowing if it's even needed. So the approach of meeting people where they are, finding out what problem or having that self-awareness within themselves, and then leverage that. Does that seem like the scaling process as well, or where does the scaling piece start?
Yeah, well, I think that's a great question. Well, you cannot grow anything that you don't know or can measure.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the
Mm,
reason why. So we don't, like you're talking about, you know, you go to LinkedIn and people are already talking about business. Well, some people get to corporate organizations or nonprofit and they immediately start talking about this is the process we're going to use, but they don't take the time to get to, okay, where are you,
mm,
right? Where do you want to go?
mm-hmm,
How are you going to get there? What's in
mm,
the way, and how would you know when you got there? So
Yeah.
before you start scaling, you need to start asking yourself, you know, what is the awareness that you have? What is the vision that you have for your life, for your company? What's the strategy we're going to be using? Because it's not a cookie cutter.
mm,
Everybody is different, every company is different, every organization is different. And then you're going to have, what are the obstacles that we're going to have to overcome, that we're going to have to jump over? And then, okay, so what is the desired outcome that you have? So before I go into this, okay, here are the 5 steps you need to do to grow your business, to level up your life. It's like, once again, where are you? And where do
mm.
you want to go? How are you going to get there? What's in the way? And how would you know that you got there? So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the approach that I take, really.
Oh, Eber, what happens though when a particular individual you're coaching or a particular business you're coaching and they don't have all of those answers? They don't know what that looks like. How do you help them move forward from that? How do you
Yeah.
help them define, what that looks like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me tell you a story first, okay?
Yeah,
Sure.
So
yeah.
when I was in college, one of my best friends called me at 2:45 a.m. Okay, and he said, "Hey, Eber, can you come pick me up?" So what do you think was my follow-up question?
Why? I don't know.
No, no.
Or
Where
where
are
where
where
are
are
you?
you? Where are
Where
you?
are
Yes.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. And his answer was, "I don't know," because
Ah,
he was so drunk that he didn't even know where he was. So
okay.
what did I now? This is college life, okay? So I just want
Okay,
to
okay,
Okay,
okay. I
clarify.
okay,
got
okay.
you.
College
Okay.
life, right? I don't remember how many years ago, but it was college life. So and I was home. So the next question is, well, can you look around and tell me what you see? Because I was familiar with the city. I
Mm-hmm.
knew the possible hot spots where he could have been, if you know what I mean.
And you just need to know which one.
I just needed to know which one exactly. And so I say, so, okay, so what do you see to your left? What do you see to your right? What's in front of you? What's behind you? And so as what I did really, and that's how it got me to this. Okay, so tell me by asking question, tell me the clues to where you are so I can help you go get you, you know?
Yeah.
So to your question, Steve, it's like when some people are stuck and they don't know what to do or where to go. And so that's the power of coaching. The problem is this, that what I see a lot, okay? So, and before I joined the Maxwell team, I had another accreditation as a coach, as a business coach. So if you really think about it, the coaching is misused a lot right now. A lot of people don't respect the competencies of the International Coaching Federation, which says that whenever you approach a coaching session, you should not have an agenda. You should not be attached to the outcome.
Yes.
What people are doing mostly is they're mentoring, they're advising others. And they are indeed violating. You can fact check me if you want. Go online and check ICF.
It's true. Yep, it's true though.
And I'm very passionate about that. And so how do I do, what's the process to get you out of there, Steve? Asking powerful questions. And then from the powerful questions only come out of active listening. So if I'm not which is another competency of International Coaching Federation coach, you must active listen to your client. And so that's how I start unlocking that potential. And then the questions like, have you, what needs to happen for you to? Have you considered this? What do you want to do? How do you see it happening? How can I best support you? So it's just question after question. But that's how I got into this. My friend helped me in college to come up with this system a long time ago, and I just use it a lot. And that's how I unlock potential. I create awareness for a clear, compelling vision, so I can help people move forward.
Yep. I love that, Heber. And we know that coaching is not one size fits all every client, right? There's always a different, not level, but different tier where a client will be. In that aspect, on average, like what is your scaling metrics that you use in order to help your clients see their growth and their progress?
Yeah. So once I meet with my clients and organizations, I use some of the main thing that I use some tools, right? So I use the DISC report. I want to get to know the person that I'm coaching, and with individuals, I also use Working Genius, and so that I know I have a better awareness of what is frustrating you or what is your sweet spot and all of those things, and then set up the goals that we want to achieve, the marks that we want to get to it. And then like you say, it just, they're different tiers, as you were talking about, of people. And then so everything is going to be different for everybody, but that's what I do, you know. So I'm really big into the self-awareness part of it, and help me so I can get to know you better, so then I can help you walk through whatever you want to do. Honestly, I don't see anybody, if you're my ideal client, I don't see anything that we cannot conquer.
I love that.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that. Heber, so we talked about last time when we were building content for this show, we talked about how you help develop high-performing teams. But first, I wanted to define what a high-performing team is.
Yeah, yes. So a high-performing team all start, for my view, is if it's a cohesive team first. Once you have a cohesive team, then they all are on their sweet spot, and then they bring to the table what they are, their best. I focus on strengths. So a high-performing team is a cohesive team who has knowledge and competency related to their own strengths, and have that team player attitude, have a compelling vision to where they want to go. Everybody know their roles, and everybody has not necessarily above each other's, but it's like once the team leader gives the directions, everybody goes down to a flat line to where everybody is pulling the wagon at the same time, so we're moving forward. So that's what I call a high-performing team. It's not necessary, and also there's some other components, like there is transparency, there is authenticity, there is trust, there is vulnerability. I'm really big about vulnerability, okay? And also we welcome failure as well. I mean, part of the failure is part of the success process. So there's several components of that, what I call a high-performing team. So it's not just about success and achieving. It's about how well we know each other, how cohesive are we, and then how much we know our own strengths, and are we using them, and then are we having a place where we trust each other, and we're being transparent, vulnerable, and we're having fun. I like fun too. So a high-performing team, I think they should have fun in everything they do.
I love that concept. So I'm trying to connect the dots here, and I just kind of saw it. So earlier, when we're talking about growth and scaling, right? You were asking, when you're coaching, your strategy is you are trying to gauge where the person is, where do they want to go, and what outcome they wanted to have. It seems like when you're also building high performance team, you're also finding out where the team wants to go, where are they at, and then what the outcome. So it's the same concept, it's just on a bigger scale.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. You got it.
Light bulb moment right there. But we will need to take we will need to take a quick break. Heber just shared a very, very, very profound and valuable information regarding growth and scaling. When we return, we will actually dive deep into high performance teams. And although Edward did summarize it a little bit more, we will go ahead and ask him more questions. With that, stay tuned, and we will be right back to the Leader's Edge.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to The Leader's Edge. I'm Steve Steele with my co-host, Ernie Dacumos, and our special guest today, Heber Mena. Heber, I love the first segment. We got into a lot of stuff, and I want to get into the second segment about high-performing teams, right? But one of the things I want to talk about is the vulnerability aspect of a high-performance team.
Okay.
Now, I understand a vulnerability is very important characteristic need to be used by a leader, but how do you do that with teams? How does a team be vulnerable? Because sometimes teams, like, they all have their different things going on. So can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit? Dive into that.
Well, we know that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And
Correct.
so there is not a steps to how to vulnerability other than when the leader decides to open him or herself to his team and just start model that. You start modeling that. Okay, because it's think about this. It's not that whenever I'm about to show empathy, it's not that I tell you, Steve, I'm about to show you empathy right now. And then I tell you, I'm sorry you're feeling that way. You don't pre-qualify those things. That's the importance of emotional intelligence, EQ. That's why it's important. It's crucial nowadays. So let's go back to vulnerability. So what you do, number one, the answer to me is you model it. And you as the leader are responsible. If you want that value on your team, you model it. Now, let me give you an example. I was working on a big project about two years ago, I believe it was, and I was leading. I'm always leading teams, right? So I was working on a big project. We were about to do something. I produced an event, and on my way there, I get a phone call from my sister that my mom had a stroke and a pulmonary embolism, and that my mom was taken to the hospital, and she was in the ICU now. So I'm about to engage my team. In this profile, I'm a CD. I analyze a lot of things, but whenever I'm implementing and when I'm executed, I'm a D. So when I get there, I know that I'm known as the mood setter as well. So when I walk into a room, if you feel my energy, I can also bring this kind of tension as well. Because everybody can feel it, emotional intelligence. So what do I do there? I have two choices. I can walk in there to the team and say, come on, guys, we need to get this done, and we're going to do this, and I'm going to be checking my phone, and they don't know what's going on, and I'm distracted, and I'm just kind of snappy, and I'm doing all of those things, right? So here's how vulnerability works. So I get there, I'm composed and trying to have my best gentle tone of voice, and I call them to a room, and I sit down. I'm not doing this standing. Body language is very important too. 55% of the communication is body language. So I call everybody to the room and I say, hey guys, I need to talk to you. They know we're about to start this project. I sit down, I put my hands on the table, I lean forward, and I tell, hey guys, I just want to let you know about something that just happened. I just got a phone call that my mom had a pulmonary embolism and stroke, and she's in the ICU. We're about to tackle this project. So if you see me distracted, if you see me checking my phone, and if you perhaps see me a little bit tense or snappy for whatever question that you have, and I come across unapproachable, that is what's going on. So what did I do in that moment?
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Do they need to know about that? That's a very personal thing. I don't have to tell anybody about that, but they're going to notice it anyway. Yes. And some people, some adults, it's like, think about this. Kids are great observers, but really bad interpreters. Some adults are the same way. Especially if you have fragile people on your team, or have people that have the rejection wound in their lives. So they're going to take everything personally. So rather, it is a private call. It is a very confidential information, but whether I say it or not, they're going to notice that with my 55%. So that is the best way that I can exemplify it and or share about vulnerability. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. That was brilliant. In fact, Brene Brown says that vulnerability is the cornerstone of courage. And it takes a lot of courage to share something as private as that is when you're in that moment. And oftentimes leaders don't do that. They won't share. They won't. And then your team is going, well, what the heck did I do?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden they take on the burden, right? They take on the burden, and it has nothing to do with them.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important for leaders to have that vulnerable spirit.
And so in that, great. Thank you so much for bringing Brene Brown to the picture here, okay? Because I learned from her this. You don't share your pain with people that have not earned the right to hear it. She said,
that's right.
Okay, so here's the thing. That's why thinking about high-performing teams is not just about the success that we're going to have. It's not just about winning. Here that I said performing, I didn't say winning teams. It's performing teams. So that's a key thing, because what do I do whenever I say so? They have earned the right to hear it. They are my team.
That's right.
So I already established my values of trust. I remember I mentioned that value, trust, transparency. I established those values quickly with the people that I'm leading. And I say, hey, look, and what's going to happen once they know what's going on with me? They're going to give me more grace.
Yes.
They're going to be more aware of the situation. I don't have to be lying or apologizing every 2 minutes.
Faking it, yeah.
Not faking it. Thank you. That's even better word. So I set the pace, and it's my responsibility as a leader to come to my team and let them know. But you know why I know? You know why I am able to do that? Number one, because I know who I am.
Yep.
I have clarity on my values. Because the problem in leadership out there is that our identity equals people's opinions plus my performance.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
Oh, that's wrong.
I don't care about that. I care about my team as people. So we base our identity on people's opinions and how I'm performing. And so I just debunked that really quickly. And I go, I know who I am. I know my values. I know what I bring to the table. I don't have to prove myself to anything. So that's why I could be vulnerable.
Yeah. Very powerful, Heber. Now, you mentioned something about high-performing teams and winning teams. Can you please share? I know you touched on it a little bit, but I'm sure somebody out there has this nagging question. What's the difference between the two?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, whenever you have the winning mentality, I'm not saying, so don't hear what I'm not saying, okay?
Okay.
But what I'm saying, you'll understand later what I mean by my Heberism. Winning, I'm not saying I don't like to win. I'm a very competitive person. I don't know if you can sense that on the screen.
Yes, very much. Very much.
Very much, right? But here's the thing. If I focus only on winning, I can go so task-oriented that I could care less about my teammates. But if I'm thinking about high performance, that I define that as all the components that I just told you. So if we're doing all of those things, what do you think the byproduct of that cohesive, unanimous, integrated performance is going to be?
Winning.
Yeah. So I see winning as the byproduct of the performance. But the problem is the performance has a bad connotation out there too. And here, let me tell you this other part here. The bad thing about me is that English is my second language. the good thing about me is the English is my second language. What do I mean by that? I have to think very twice about my words. That's why I'm saying the connotation of performance out there is wrong, because people immediately think about being fake. But a performance is the act that you do, whether it's bad or good.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that. So it's just, so winning, back to your question, I see it as the byproduct of that cohesive, integrated, united team.
Wow. That's powerful. That is so powerful. So, Heber, I know that you do other things with your teams that you're working with, other frameworks for high performing teams that you're working with in particular companies. You do a series of lunch and learn kind of things, leveling up through communication and connection. Talk about that a little bit. Tell us what a lunch and learn is, and tell us how that works.
Absolutely. The short answer is that I love learning and I love food. No, just kidding. I was waiting for your reaction.
I do. I'm with you. I am with you.
You see, that's why it works, because everybody kind of understands. So yeah, lunch and learns. I love that concept because, like, think about this. Everybody needs to eat. Like, everybody's trying to get out of the office to take a little break and all. But also, what do we do nowadays, right? We're either like checking our phones, or we're going to places like, sometimes we're not investing time, we're just wasting time or in spending time. So what a better format to create this environment to where you go and people are more receptive when they're eating. That's why most of the meetings that we have are over breakfast, are over coffee, are over lunch, right? Because we're more receptive, we're more like we're eating, you just kind of taking care of our body, but at the same time, we're doing all those things. So I love that concept because it just provides the great environment to be able to, it's very conducive for the teaching and for the learning. So here's what I did in the month March, and tomorrow is going to be my 5th lunch and learn of March. I was thinking, how can I add value to my community? And I just started thinking, well, let's do lunch and learn. So I went and talked to one of the owners of a local restaurant, and I said, hey, I've been thinking, I have an idea. I'm an innovator. What about this? So you have a beautiful restaurant. You have a room where it's a VIP room. What if you allow me to come to your restaurant and host a lunch and learn? I'm not going to charge for my services. If you don't charge me for the room, you're going to sell your lunches. And would you allow me to sell my products, my services at the end of each lunch and learn? And she's like, you're not going to charge me anything? No, if you don't charge me for the room. I'll provide my content at no cost for your customers. You provide the room. You sell your lunches. I'm going to offer my services at the end and then see what happened. And it worked. So I started in March. And so tomorrow, actually, it's going to be my 5th lunch and learn of this month. And I tell you what, it's been amazing. Tomorrow, I'm going to close with playing the leadership game. And we're just going to be assessing behavior, assessing teams that whoever represent. And everybody's really excited about that. So that's what I love about this lunch and learn concept.
Are you having people return every week, the same type of people or different people, or how's that working for you?
I just gifted, I'm part of a BNI group as well. And there is a lady in my BNI group that she have attended every single lunch and learn. So I gifted her what I call the empowerment matrix, which is the combination of this assessment, working genius, and love languages. I usually, that's product at $295. That's the price on that. I gifted that to this lady because she had attended every single lunch and learn in March, and she already registered for the one that is going to happen tomorrow.
Wow. So I'm curious, Heber, is this something that you also, we have 60 seconds here, roughly. Is that something that you also bring to the people that you work with?
What the
Like,
lunch and learn or what?
yes, the lunch and learn. Is that something that you also, because remember, you also teach, or let me rephrase my question. Is this also something that you recommend or you do for clients who you help build high performing teams?
Absolutely, absolutely. The answer is yes. I don't know how much time do we have to answer that question, but I can do it later, or I
Elaborate on
can.
it. You
Okay,
can elaborate on it a little
Yeah,
bit.
let's come
Yes.
back to it. Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome. We will need to take a quick break. When we return, Ever will answer my question about is Lunch and Learn something that he recommends organizations where he helps build high performing team. And with that, we will be right back to the Leader's Edge.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Leader's Edge. I'm your host, Steve Steele, with my co-host, Ernie Dacumos, and our special guest today, Heber Mena. So, Heber, when we were talking in that last segment, Ernie had a question that I'm going to let her re-ask to you because I think it's a very, very important question. So, Ernie, go ahead.
Yes, and I had to think about it again. So we talked about lunch and learns and high performing habits. So my question was, is lunch and learn something that you offer to organizations whom you help build high performing teams? And the additional to that is, how does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is like if you're a coach, or if let's say you're a John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, and speaker, that is one of the easiest, most organic, less threatening ways that you can get into an organization. And what I would do is that I will offer it complimentary. And this is how I would say. Let's say that you have a company, and I want to do business with you, because it's all about how do you connect with the people, right? If everybody, nobody likes to be sold anything, it's like I don't like it. When I sense somebody's already about to sell me something, I turn off immediately, right? So, but imagine if you have your company there, and I say, um, I would love to to have the opportunity to come to your organization and do a 60-minute lunch and learn. And the way that works is, this is complimentary. I just would love to add value to your company. And so the way this works is, if you have a conference room, why don't you guys just order lunch, and I will be there, and I'll bring like 35-minute content, and then we'll have a Q&A after that. The only thing I ask you to do is, if you will let me have a 10-minute meeting with the decision maker of the company, so then I can see how I can further serve you and or add value to your team. Okay, so usually what happens is, oh, see, yeah, absolutely, we'll love to have you, and then I go the second question. So, what topic would you like me to talk about? One of the most requested topics are communication, productivity. Okay, and I say, oh, okay, that's great. Okay, let's get our calendars out. You plan the meeting. Most companies, they have either a staff meeting every week, or they have a meeting that they have to do to set everything. So, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a lunch and learn, but a time where I can get there, they can have some food on the table, and then we can learn something, right? And so I go there, and what I do is I bring a 35-minute teaching, that's a teaching part of it. So I'm going to be talking about communication. So we're going to talk about communicate, connect, and create. And those are the things that I'm going to be talking about. And I teach. I don't go crazy on the teaching, because I want to have a spot to do two things. And I love doing this on the spot. And I see the people's faces just going, wow, that's powerful. Here's what I do. I do the teaching. And then after that, I said, do I have your permission to coach you on this part that you just asked me? And if they say yes, then I put my coach and say, I'm going to show you two things. This is my coaching hat. And then I go into just asking questions. So what does it mean to you, this? Oh, great. What are you going to do? What needs to happen for you to blank? Okay, so who can keep you accountable for you to achieve those things? When do you think you can show? So that's coaching, right? And then some people get frustrated, because especially executives, high-ranked CEOs or business owners, they get frustrated with coaching because it's too many questions. And so and I can see their faces. I'm looking at the body language and all that, and I say, you seem a little stressed out right now. May I put my mentor hat now? What does that mean? I'll show you, because in coaching, I ask questions, and I want to bring the content from within. In mentoring, I'm going to tell you what to do. And I sense that that's what you want right now. So I put my mentoring hat, and I say, okay, here's what you need to do. Okay. And you see the person that is like all stressed out. I go, oh, yeah. Okay. So here are the 3 steps, because most people want to jump to that. Okay. So you're going to do this, 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 and this. Okay. That's mentoring. So what I do is, in 45, 50 minutes, I get to the company, everybody's eating. I teach and I showcase what the difference between coaching and mentoring is. And then not only that, I also say, that required training. But good news, I'm a speaker, coach, and trainer. So I can bring this to your company as well. So I can do this. Because then you need to remember this, the coaching elevate performance. And that's a very important thing. But mentoring is also set the pace of where you really need to go. That's the implementation part of it. And so those are two different disciplines. And so, once again, through a lunch and learn, I get to showcase the 3 skills that we're licensed on, so they can serve the company as a follow-up. Don't forget that one of my reasons to do this at no cost for them is if they would allow me to speak with the decision maker, not to Bob or Frank who just like to talk. I want to talk to the decision maker, because then I want to offer a follow-up where I can then that can lead me to a possible contract with the company.
That's beautiful. I love how you lead into that. But you have so many of these different frameworks in building these high performance teams. Now, Heber, we only have about 5 minutes left here, but so I want you to be brief on this. But we talked about you talked about Working Genius, you talked about DISC, you talked about Lunch and Learn series, and how these all are effective in building high performance teams. But you also mentioned the love languages. Now, Heber, this can get into another show, and I think I want to go with another show on this kind of thing because I love this part about love languages. But Gary Chapman wrote a book, The 5 Love Languages.
Yes.
Heber, tell us how you incorporate that in high performing teams. How does that work? We only have a few minutes here.
Absolutely. So the short answer is that you need to remember that the 5 love languages that Gary Chapman identified is words of affirmation, quality time, acts of services, gifts, and physical touch. Now, the one that is to navigate with most respect and everything is the physical touch, especially in the marketplace. I just want to clarify that. However, every other the rest of the languages is helpful for me, because if you value, if your love language is acts of service, or it doesn't matter how if I write you a whole letter of encouragement, that means nothing to you. You want me to do something for you. So, hey, team, I brought coffee for everybody. I asked them the day before what's their favorite coffee, right? So that's an act of service. So the person who is act of service, right? Now, if your love language is words of affirmation, and I never give you a compliment, and I never write you a sticky note saying, Steve, that was an awesome thing what you did, and let me tell you why I like it, because this, and this. Don't just say thank you or that was great. That was too shallow. The words of affirmation, they need to hear why you're telling them thank you. And then you have the quality time, and I say, hey, come with me. I'm the team leader. Hey, come with me. Sit down. And how's your day going? That's the quality time part of it. You're modeling that. You're not just sending him a text, and all of those things. And then you have the acts of services, quality time, and then you have the physical touch, And when with guys, you can come and say, hey, thanks so much, man. My wife always tell me, why do you guys have to pat twice on the back? I don't know. That's a guy code. I mean, I don't know. You have to do it. Or if you give a guy a hug, right? Like you give them a hug, and it's like, okay, you gotta tap, because if you don't tap, it's like that's awkward there. But in other things, you can also do just ask permission. You did great. Is it okay if I give you a hug? Are you a hugger? So okay, yeah, then just give very respectfully and do that. So that's the short answer that I can go into the 5 love languages in the marketplace and in high performing teams.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's very, very straight to the point. And Heber, I know we have a couple of minutes left, but can you please share with the individuals, what are you currently, the individuals, to our listeners, what are you currently working on, and how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I'm working on a lot of projects, but one of the most the great things that I'm doing right now is to helping people identify their own values, find their purpose. And I do those things, I do coaching online, I do mentoring online, and I'm using that empowerment matrix, which combine the DISC assessment, the working genius, and the 5 love languages. That's going to unlock your potential and help you move forward and achieve a lot of things, and serve others in a more effective way.
Beautiful. That is awesome. Partner. Yes, next Thursday, Ernie, our guest is all about helping female entrepreneurs shatter plateaus and fast track their success through bold strategies and deep personal growth. She's a powerhouse. She's a #1 Amazon best-selling author. She's a real estate broker. She's a business coach. You've got to meet her. You've got to listen to her, Lorna Sherlin. So as always, Eber.
This is a live show.
It's a live show. As always, Eber, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
I get my tongue turned, but you are amazing, sir. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Appreciate it.
Yes, I agree. And we wanted to say thank you to all of our listeners and friends, because without you, the Leader's Edge would not be possible. We are grateful to have you here and so excited to connect with you next time. But for now, bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.